It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Margie McGee, and with me, as always, is my dear friend, co-host.
Good day, everybody. Hello, Margie. I'm so happy to see you, and I'm happy to be back to discuss another Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We're going to be discussing their fourth episode of the season called Hellevators.
Is that what it was called?
It's
I
called
didn't look at
Hellevators.
that.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, and to be fair, that's about when the episode started, as far as I'm concerned. Like, we can breeze through the beginning, but that elevator scene is, that's where it got off the ground for me. Oh,
Yeah.
Erika. Oh, Davis. Oh, Mikey.
I
Oh, Magic Mike.
I definitely had some feelings before the last scene, but
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
Oh, I'm,
And
yeah, perpetually triggered by everything. So, yeah.
completely. And I want to admit when I'm wrong. Clearly, last week I had my probably expensive, non reimbursable by whatever vision plan insurance you have, Sutton colored glasses on last week in regards to her leaving the Magic Mike. I really thought in the moment that she didn't make a scene when she was leaving, and she did. I saw her before she was fully out of the theater, in the previously on last night. I saw her, I need this mic off and unbelievable. And I think I was just focusing on when she actually physically got out of her seat to leave. I was like, well, she didn't do anything. It wasn't that big of a deal. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. I'm very attached to Sutton being defensible. And I feel like even without Lisa Rinna this season, Kyle's really leaning into being a mean girl. I feel like Erika's really leaning into being a mean girl, especially where Sutton is concerned. And I just want justice for Sutton.
Oh,
And
we are going to have an issue at the end of this episode because no.
Interesting, very
They're all
interesting.
terrible.
They are all terrible. And honestly, I need to discuss with my therapist why I am so attached to standing up for this woman that is photographed with Kathy racist Hilton and homophobes Dolce and Gabbana are like her besties. So
I mean,
I have problems.
no, you have the same instinct Garcelle is grappling with. There is something about Sutton, and I swear to God, she's getting more Southern this season. Her drawl seems to be getting
Mm-hmm.
more played out. But yeah, she's tiny and she just seems like she needs some defense around her, but she brings out a lot herself. And,
Her anxiety is the kind of anxiety that can be hard to live with or near or experience in that moment. And I just have this soft spot. And yeah, I think it's because I just love her and Garcelle. There are Beverly Hills, Waldorf, and Statler. And
mhm.
yeah, I have a lot to work out with
Same
my
as
own self.
always. And we can start with the beginning, which was nothing of interest, just some getting ready glam check-ins.
Yep.
Dorit FaceTimes PK when we get the little flashback to Mauricio and PK's dinner, which Mauricio just basically lays out his recipe for marriage, which is, as far as I'm concerned, my wife is always right. Like, I don't care to get to know her, ask her any questions about her, what motivates her decisions and her opinions. I just say she's always right and go make more money.
I had such a strong reaction to that because, on one hand, there's that adage, don't sweat the small stuff. And do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I can sometimes sweat the small stuff because I have a massive fear of being misunderstood. And I want the person, well, I'll talk about my relationship right now. I want him to know where I'm coming from so that I won't just be assumed that I'm just being an asshole for no reason or a whatever. We're both sensitive. And so we can both sweat the small stuff. And if Mauricio really has like a great grasp on not sweating the small stuff or embodies the do you want to be right or do you want to be happy, consider me inspired. Consider me wanting to do that as well. And then I thought, well, does he smoke that much pot because he can't cope with confrontation? Is he avoiding confrontation with Kyle because, he's confrontation avoidant? I mean, who isn't? But every relationship worth its salt will have some confrontation come up on any level. But you're absolutely right. Is it that he doesn't care to get to know her? We all change and evolve, hopefully, as we age. And they've been together for 27 years that's a long time. Those are life cycle changes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he just seems to want it to be as it always was, but that was 30 years ago. And
Mhm.
he doesn't seem to be allowing for her to be anything other than like super mom and good time girl on his arm at parties. Like,
Right.
I actually like felt a little bit for Kyle and for Mauricio too. I don't think he knows that he's doing that. I don't think it's intentional, but that's almost worse
Yep.
when your partner is so checked out that they're not paying attention to how much you're changing or caring about different things or distancing
Ugh.
yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was interesting. And those two turds, I just looking at them having dinner, I was just like, ugh, that friendship bums me out.
I mean, my Al-Anon was so triggered because all I could see was, and again, I could be completely wrong. I know the lighting was a little that, like, dramatic lighting they do when they flash back on a scene. Um, PK's mouth just had that wine tinge around his inner lip and his teeth. Again, I am an adult child of an alcoholic. I try not to count drinks. I try not to pay attention to people's wine-stained mouths. And guess what? Sometimes I still do. And so last night, I was just like, "Oh, I hear slurring. Oh, I see purple stains." And so I was all, "PK's wasted. PK's wasted."
I think PK's always wasted. I don't know. I've had enough of PK. He got his whole Pretty Woman episode, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
can we just get him off the call sheet? No thanks. And then Kyle calls Mauricio, and this is where my child of an alcoholic thing came up because she sounded exactly like me when I call my dad. It's all obligation, it's charged with resentment, and I cannot wait for it to be over. And that was
Yeah.
her whole mood, where she was like, ugh, ugh, just seeming to endure this chore before she could get on with her day.
Oy, oy, oy.
I don't know.
Oh, it's really uncomfortable watching the two of them right now. It's, like, palpable. Kyle is not as good of an actress in this kind of situation as she is in her esteemed roles in the Halloween franchise.
Truly, yeah, it just seems like he's just doing what they've always done, which is like, "Hi, honey. Hi, sugar bean," or whatever.
Ew, love
And
being
Kyle's
gross.
over it. Thank you, love bean. I don't know why I can't remember that. Maybe because it's
Because it's
terrible.
disgusting, and your
Yeah.
brain is trying to block it out because it's gross.
Yeah, and Kyle's aggressively trying to get his attention to say like, "Look at me, I'm different. Why don't you care? Ask me
Yeah.
about how I'm different." And he just can't. He can't go there with her. So that's the end of him for this episode. And then Crystal and Erica having lunch at Viva. That was the weirdest pairing, and I was so uncomfortable. I felt hungover watching them just because I was like, this is what a hangover feels like to me. I want out of it. It feels so uncomfortable. And again, just something to be endured.
Yeah, and I don't believe Erica when she says that she's in peace.
She says, I'm
Yeah.
not going to give it undue life, her argument with Sutton. And I'm like, oh, really? Elevator
Yeah.
much? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's like it reminded me of that Seinfeld episode when Kramer is sitting outside of his apartment door with his makeshift Americana 4th of July setup, and he's all serenity now, right before the kids come to silly spray him. Anyway, it just trying to convince himself that he's serene, and she's trying to convince herself that she's not going to let Sutton disrupt her peace. Ma'am, just because you say it with your words does not mean that it's true. You gotta work on that, and it's hard, and it's messy, and it's not I'm not at
Yeah.
peace with Erica, I'll tell
I'm
you
not at
that.
peace with Erica. I'm not at peace. I mean, I did think it was interesting. I guess that happens later when Crystal asks her, "Do you miss your old life?" Like that was a
Oh,
good question.
yeah.
But before that, we we get to the comic relief of this episode, which is Garcelle and Sutton on a gondola as Garcelle tries to recap her morning talk about her hesitancy to trust the women with information about her family, and this ridiculous gondolier with his cartoonishly bad Italian accent starts singing some aria and cannot read the room. He can't read the boat and just keeps singing. And my favorite was when Garcelle just throws her hands up and just starts listening and gives up on talking.
I
He had
mean,
his moment. God bless him. He got his TV time.
he did. He's did. He's been on Bravo. Noted
Hmm.
gondolier. Yes. Oh,
Then we're with Kyle and Dorit at Wally's, and Dorit, this was weird. Again, this is all my child of an alcoholic stuff of
so much.
Dorit trying to assign meaning to Kyle's sobriety and nudging her to get off the wagon. I miss the old Kyle. We used to let loose and have fun. Why can't anyone let Kyle evolve? Now suddenly I'm on her side and I'm like, take me to Morgan Wade. Like if this is your friend group telling you that you're boring now and they miss who you were before, that's the same thing Mauricio's doing. I'd want out too.
It's so gross. I was so disappointed in everybody who was doing that. A, what does that say about their drinking? You know, if they're that attached to Kyle doing that, and if Kyle is feeling good and it's working for her, which I think some aspects of her recent choices are working for her, I think others are just putting an obsession in front of true feelings. But I can't imagine ever being like, "Oh, one of my friends isn't drinking right now. Man, come on."
Especially when she's going through a hard time in her marriage. And she says it again here. I feel like I need to be really clear right now about everything. So when someone says that, enjoy your break from alcohol. If you need clarity, drinking and drugging is not going to
Right.
get you there
And how
ever, or, certainly not in any hurry.
before we move on, in the beginning, I was already outraged of this scene because Dorit didn't she's complaining about how she didn't get sleep last night, and then the conversation with Garcelle, where Garcelle's alleged friend, who allegedly has remorse over her behavior concerning the party where Jax was told to get the fuck out of here. After a hard morning of not validating or hearing your friend, coupled with no sleep, Dorit's not having a good day, you guys, so we should have some compassion.
Dorit's ridiculous.
Dorit is an idiot.
Was this when she was wearing the sweater that had like chain
Yes,
cuffs
yes,
and
yes.
just
I,
too much? Just have brunch. Put on a sweatshirt and have brunch. Like don't
uh,
ugh.
I mean, she's an example of when clothes wear you and you're not wearing the clothes. She just reeks and oozes from her pores this inauthenticity when it comes to her clothing choices. She's such a fucking wannabe poser.
I will say
Gavel down.
I was distracted and upset by how many times I thought, "Oh, Dorit looks really pretty." And I was like, "Ew, no, you hate Dorit. Don't give her that." But she did occasionally when she wasn't talking. Whatever she's had done to her face and lips, it's in really nice proportion. So great job, whoever her
Yeah.
doctor is. Yeah, so we touched down in these confessionals where Sutton says that basically Kyle is doing the most right now. She has 5 tattoos, she's working out, no drinking. And then Sutton says, "Who works out anymore?" And of course, this is my body obsession disease at work. I was like, was that a shout out to Wegovy? Does nobody work out
100%.
anymore? It was.
Uh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Just
I
checking.
that's what I thought. That's what I thought it was. Nobody works out anymore, which I don't buy, especially in Los Angeles. I'm watching the latest season of Selling Sunset. I often have it on in the background as I'm doing my ADHD tasks that I fucking loathe. And just in the last couple episodes, Bree and Emma are at this gym in LA,
Oh
and it's
God. The vibrator gym.
the vibrator gym. Yeah, I was like, "Okay, what is that?" People still fucking work out in Los Angeles, Sutton.
Honestly, I do wonder if people just go to those places and take a selfie and then go home. Because people now wear, like $600 workout outfits. I don't see people sweating the way they once did. While we're in our Wegovy season,
Mhm,
enjoy.
mhm.
Garcelle really bummed me out when she in her confessional she said I miss the old Kyle, and I was like,
Yeah,
dude.
I know. I
But
know.
whatever. I can't expect her to be perfect, but that
I
was
can't
that was a
either.
letdown.
I know, it was. I agree. I agree.
And then this I thought was interesting. Kyle basically reports that her whole persona was based on people pleasing and behaving how they wanted her to, which is to have fun, and that she didn't always want to drink and she would fake wanting to drink and occasionally fake having a cocktail and just get a club soda. The intensity and commitment and depth of her people pleasing is heartbreaking because you and I both know how that feels. It's exhausting, it's thankless because nobody knows because you're lying. They don't know how hard you're working to have a nice time. So I felt for her here. It's hard to come to terms with that.
It is hard to come to terms with it, and okay, you're right. It's hard to come to terms with it. I just feel like, dude, when you're in LA and you live anywhere west of fucking Fairfax, every cafe bulletin board or, the fucking Earth Cafe, the Bodhi Tree bookstore, I don't even know if that's still there, but
It's closed, but
it's
it's gotten
closed. Wow.
worse. We have
But
lots of things that are much
yeah,
more
like
aggressive,
it's
like the cafe gratitude and,
yes, exactly. It's like all of that stuff is all around you. There are options to work on your mental health everywhere. And I just wonder if Kyle thinks, well, I'm out of the alcoholic household. I haven't lived under the same roof as Big Kathy for years. And I don't know the status of her and Kim's relationship right now, how close they are. And I just don't like Kyle. I don't like Kyle.
yes.
So I'm projecting my unhappiness with Kyle and judging her for not getting her child of an alcoholic stuff worked on yet. Maybe it's because, too, we've seen it not work for her since the very first season, where she calls her sister an alcoholic in a limousine. I mean, within the first, 3 episodes of season 1 of Beverly Hills?
It's the first memory I have of Kyle.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. My point is, oh, maybe I should just shut the fuck up, honestly. I should have some compassion. I take it all back. I take it back. It's
That's
not my fucking
lovely.
timeline. I
It's
take it back.
also it's also we get such an incomplete picture. Like, I try to remember that denial works until it doesn't,
You're
and
right.
Kyle had 7,000 children and
You're right.
an up and coming business, and I think it's only now that the kids are out of the house and all of the frenzy around being a mom of a bunch of girls is dying down that she's like, "Wait a minute, I think I hate who I am.
Yeah,
I
you're
think I'm gonna
absolutely right.
try to be someone else." But I wish she would do it with some outside help because it seems a lot of it
Yeah.
seems like misguided outbursts and a lot of childish behavior as she tries to figure out who she's going to be now without much support from her inner circle, sadly.
She's talking a lot about trying to get control.
I think I think it was Dorit who was assigning that to Kyle. She was the one
Yeah.
saying, "Are you trying to be in control?" And Kyle, I think this is why my heart was breaking for her, is I was like, no one's listening. She's not saying that. She's saying that she doesn't like who she's been all these years. And can anyone make a little room for her to try to be someone who's evolving or someone different or someone
Yeah.
new. But instead, she
Yeah.
goes to the gym in the morning and everyone's like, "Oh, you went to the gym in the morning?" And she doesn't
Ugh,
order a cocktail. And everyone's like, "Oh, you're not drinking. I like you better." Like, there's no
so rude.
support.
You're right. You're right. And I do need to remind myself that she lost her best friend within the last 2 years when her friend took her own life due to depression.
Well, and it
So she's
makes
got a lot going
sense.
on.
Yeah, it makes sense when she talks about how Mauricio just wasn't there for her when she needed him at all.
Yeah.
All the stuff with her sister, this traumatic, tragic situation with her best friend. You would hope when something like when the fire has that many alarms going off around it that your husband might turn his head and be like, "You okay?" But it sounds like he just went on being the agency.
Being in between Portugal, the second weekend of Coachella,
Right, right.
Portia's spring break.
Getting
Mauricio's
his
got a lot
veneers
going on.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh my God, getting his glow in the
Glow in
dark
the
teeth.
teeth. But I did appreciate Kyle at the end of this. She says, "This is who I am, take it or leave it." And I was
Right.
like, good for you. At least you know that you've fixed yourself to move into a new era of your life. So we'll see if that comes to any good, but at least she's trying.
Have we already talked about Erika saying she doesn't miss her own life?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, Crystal asked if she misses her old life, and she says she has some sense memories about the holidays, but other than that, the fighting and the being entrenched in resentment is the end of a marriage, which I thought
Yeah.
was pretty accurate.
And she says that before Kyle says that now she and Mauricio don't really hang out at the events that he goes to because she doesn't drink and play the wife of the head of the agency role anymore. And so they're losing those things that they had in common. and her changes are in an effort to feel better in her own skin, to feel better in her own life. He's on a different path. I looked at Josh and I'm like, they're over. That's it. In that little conversation, I was like, oh, this is not, some people on the internet are saying, oh, they're faking it for ratings. I don't think they're fucking, we can feel it through the screen, dude. And these are not Oscar winning actors. I can't even buy him saying love bean without feeling like he's just trying so hard.
I mean, and
Yeah.
as children of alcoholics, I think her resentment is so deep because it's not that she ever wanted to do that stuff, and she did it as a dutiful wife, and now she's extra resentful that she doesn't get what she wants when she needs something. But I've learned in therapy that's an unfair expectation. If I lie and people please and then expect people to make the same sacrifice for me when I'm in pain or I'm in need. They didn't know that I was killing myself to be someone that they wanted to be around. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. It's sad, but I agree. It really does feel like I don't know how you come back from this, especially because Mauricio, he would need a lot of intensive time with her and probably lots of therapy. And maybe he'll be willing to do that. But all I've seen is Dancing with the Stars and the agency
Right.
signs everywhere around the city. So,
And I don't think he's willing to give up that life.
mm-mm.
He's having a lot of fun with it. Is it Dorit that says that Kyle's going through a midlife crisis?
That was Sutton.
That was Sutton that said it?
Hmm.
Oh, God. I don't know if that's a crisis or if it's just a movement into a different life phase.
It seems like Kyle is coming to terms with the fact that this may lead to the end of their long-term marriage that defined her for so long. Because when Dorit
Yeah.
says, "Are you like worried that your paths are diverging so much that the marriage won't survive?" And Kyle just tears up. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is very real.
It's real. It's totally real. Oy, oy, oy. Then they're getting ready to go to a cowboy bar, and I just wrote that Dorit's outfit is rage-inducing. Again, she's wearing something that, in her idea, is cowboy chic, and that was such an opportunity to have so much fucking fun. You could wear something like a satin pant and a vintage cowboy boot and a satin fringe shirt and a cuter hat. But no, she has to turn up in some steampunk meets cowboy meets wannabe Beyonce hat, and I fucking hate her.
They all look nuts. And the fact that Kyle wore a Kimosabe hat with real diamond trim, what is happening? And we get to it later at dinner, but when Erika is like having her serious conversation about money, all I could see was like the little ornaments
Oh,
hanging down from her
God.
hat, jingling around. And
Oh
I was
my
like, please
God.
take your hat off so I can take you seriously.
It's like she had a fucking Home Goods, you know, prerequisite pillow trim hanging around that cowboy brim.
They
It
all
was
looked insane. What was
yeah.
Garcelle wearing? Those pants? I was like, did someone burn them?
I loved those
Stop.
pants. I
What were
did.
they?
I don't know, big, like, bleach marks or something. I kinda liked them. I did. I was
With
all,
it was so
"Hmm."
much. It was like
It
they were
was.
parachute pants with burn marks
I
and
know, that's what made
fringe.
them better.
They
Were
were
there
crazy.
fringe too? I would have stopped at the
Oh,
fringe, but
there was fringe.
oh no, the parachute was fine and the bleach marks were fine.
It was just
But again, I have a fashion sense that, you could describe it as Susie Green from Curb Your Enthusiasm meets, hmm, I might say Jenna Lyons. I just might say
how
that.
about that? But you can pull
Anyway,
it off. I do think it is like it matches your personality. And I just everyone looked like they were in costume and it was crazy.
oh, they for sure were, yeah. And I just would be remiss to not say that the name of fucking Kimosabe as a whole is just disgusting, and I fucking hated it when we first were introduced to that fakakta hat, and how dare Kyle go off on Sutton about her brand when Kyle's brand is clearly, "I roll deep with the Kimosabe crew, and all my fucking hats are from Kimosabe." You're so lame, Kyle.
The Kimosabe part of her personality, I would like to hang that up along with all the ugly hats, but she
Yeah.
is committed to it. And then we head to dinner. And this is where I started wondering about like the editors of this episode, if they were also adult children of alcoholics, because from here on out, we get lots of focus on drinking. And it starts with watching everyone's drink orders, which was a total snooze, but we land on Kyle ordering her non-alcoholic beer, making sure the zero is alcohol, and landing on a mocktail. And then Garcelle and Erika speak up and give her shit and start peer pressuring her, which is just boring. And then Garcelle has a game, and I
Oh
think I said out
God.
loud, boo.
I said, oh no, a game.
I was like, do we have to? And I just don't want to hear these women weigh in on, is monogamy natural for humans? Erika makes some comment about the lion kingdom, that female lionesses seek out younger, more virile males. Dorit had like the one redemptive, funny line of the night when she says, Erika, you married the oldest lion in the pack.
I
What are
mean,
you talking about?
honestly, and isn't a lion pack called a pride?
I think so. It's definitely
Yeah.
not called a pack. I at least knew that.
Yeah.
And then Kyle gets squirrely, saying it's an individual choice and it's hard for some people to be monogamous. And she's not sure if she'd stay after a betrayal. And just who cares? I
It
did
was
like reminding us of Garcelle telling her story again. I'll never get tired of it. When she found out that her ex was cheating on her, he'd been having a 5-year affair with some woman in
oh my
Chicago, and she
God.
went off and sent a public email
I remember that.
to everybody. And I love her attitude about it. She's just like, oh, well, I lost my mind. Sorry. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, 5 years? 5 years
I
is,
would lose my mind too. And
yeah.
everyone should know. Like, this is where our sense of justice is like, oh, no, you
Yes.
don't get to drift away and have nobody look at you sideways. I'm going to make sure everyone that you care about looks at you sideways,
Right.
which is vindictive
Exactly.
and terrible, but still, I loved her for that.
And speaking of our sense of justice, I did notice at the beginning of the scene when they are getting out of the Sprinter van, Garcelle shows huge amounts of love to their driver, Jack. And I really liked that.
She's the best. That makes up for those pants. And then we get to the question is, when does money stop making you happy? And Erika has a somewhat insightful take on this now that she's lost all of her money and had to downsize, that she claims she's not ashamed of. But she talks about financial fear, that it's actually scary when you don't know if you'll have enough money to cover your basic needs, shelter,
Yeah.
light, all of that.
Yeah.
And then she said the piece that I was like, ooh, this is for our podcast, is she says, I don't want to look at the numbers. It's too scary. And I was like, oh, there's a seat for you in Debtors Anonymous,
Oh,
my
yeah.
dear.
Yeah.
Anonymous.
Being vague around money can keep me up at night, you know?
There's peace and clarity, and it's hard to look at it,
It's
especially
so
when the
hard.
numbers are unpleasant. For me, I have tremendous anxiety when I just hold my breath for 3 months and then look at a bank account. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why I do that either. But anyways, I thought this was a moment in time where I was like, okay, Erika, interesting
Yeah.
take on your own life. Good for you.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. Agreed.
And then poor Crystal, we have her birthday montage, and I don't care. And then, I mean, then we go to Gilly's Cowboy Bar. This made me laugh so hard when they entered. Sutton looks like Sophia Petrillo from the Golden Girls
Oh,
because
bless.
she's so little and she walks kind of hunched, and she had her handbag hanging off the end of her wrist. And I was like, oh my God, you do not look like you're in for like a night out.
I laughed when Garcelle made the comment about the whiteness because I guarantee you that if my sister and I had walked into Gillies in Vegas or the original one, wait, is Gillies a real place or was it just in Urban Cowboy? It is a real place. Oh no, it's a real place. How dare I?
I
It's an
have no idea.
institution. I believe the original, the headquarters, the
Flagship?
Gilly, yes, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. The flagship Gillies, I believe, is in Texas. And it was made famous by Urban Cowboy, Rhinestone Cowboy. What?
I have no idea. I'd never heard of it in my life, and I couldn't wait for the scene to be over.
Oh my God.
Because
I guarantee
again,
you, yeah.
we start with Kyle, the editors making sure they leave in Kyle ordering a non-alcoholic beer.
Right.
And then Kyle rides the bull, and she looks great and she does great, and it's totally boring. And Sutton rides the bull, and her cutesy anxiety is okay. And then Erika, this is where she lost me again. So she has a confessional and she says, if Sutton's bull riding skills are anything like her dick riding skills, no wonder she doesn't get a second date. And I was like, you fucked a fossil for 20 years. Like, I would love to see what your skill set is coming off of that dick. Please don't. Pat the puss does not equal skills in bed, lady.
No, it
You can't
doesn't.
tell me that Tom like pushed you to your sexual limits. You had like
Right. I
really
know.
interesting, rigorous sex with Tom, Grandpa
Ew.
Tom.
She's
Anyways,
it was rude and judgy and also never
and it's the
mind.
30th time she's made the second date reference. We get it. You're not interesting.
Poor Sutton. Like here she is opening. Oh my God, here I go again. Here I go
Uh-oh.
again. I'm wearing the
Because
Sutton
now we're
colored
getting into the
glasses.
phase where I'm like, eat shit, Sutton. Here we go.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yes, we'll get there. My point is that she is sharing her vulnerabilities with this group of people who shy of one of them, and maybe Crystal now to an extent. She is sharing very vulnerable things. From her first season, where she's doing the roller, does she look a little nutty when she's doing it? Yes. Is she also saying, I'm doing it because I'm anxious? Yes. Have I been in the situation where I've been with someone with Sutton's energy and it's made me uncomfortable? Yes. But the bottom line is that Sutton is choosing to be vulnerable with these women, and it's coming back to bite her in the face. And I think that that is really mean. If you're sharing stuff about your deepest, darkest fears, or her penchant for sex toys on vacation or whatever, don't throw it back in someone's face. It's fucking rude and it's mean, especially when Miss Open and Honest Kyle, okay, maybe this season she's shifting, but her whole thing in the last couple of years is just be honest, just be honest. Sutton is being honest, and they're still batting her around like a mouse for it. I find it reprehensible.
I just this whole from here on out in this episode, to me, this is what I tune into the Real Housewives for. It's what they do best. Everyone is right, but mostly wrong, and they all wind up being hateable. Like this to me started that swirl down the drain. So they're packing up to leave, and we're at the elevators, and the doors just happen to open
Oh
on
my God.
Davis and Mikey for the Magic Mike dancer.
Yeah.
And Erika makes this really big unnecessary production of saying, screaming, "This Sudden, it's your opportunity to apologize." And she really was over the top at the doorway doing all of this like physical work too to drive home her point. And Erika was a bit much, claiming that Sutton said the show was shit, which is inflammatory and untrue. But then Davis was a bit much when he he defends the show saying it gets real artful at the end. I was like, just don't. It's Magic Mike in Vegas. Can everyone just go home?
I was mortified. I was mortified. It was fucking mean to Davis to say she said this show is shitty. Like, if I said to one of my friends, oh, yeah, so and so thought your show is really shitty. Erica probably thinks that she is being righteous in this moment when she's being fucking rude to her friend, too. No performer wants to hear that someone thought they were shitty as a tactic to throw another person under the bus. That is a backhanded, not a backhanded compliment, but you know what I'm saying. It's a manipulation, is what it is. It is manipulation.
And it's self-centered. She
And
doesn't
it's
care about the
completely self
dancer. She
centered.
doesn't care about Sutton. This is
Nope.
her moment. And as she said, God graced her with this moment, so she took it. Like, what the
Oh my
fuck was
God.
that?
No, that's
And it
not
went on forever. And I was like, this Lent religious bullshit, it's not cute. It's not funny. It's not interesting. It's landing real bad with me.
right.
I don't like it.
Right. It was bad. It felt like Erica opened the floodgates to let's pile on Sutton.
And I
I know.
was at
Okay.
this moment, I was with you because Sutton was right. That was rude. That was over the top. That was intentional humiliation. So now we move into the Sprinter van, and Sutton tells Erica in a pretty stable tone. She says that was too much, humiliating her at the elevators. True. Erica says, but you made it a big deal. Also true. Sutton says it became a big deal when the other people left. True. Erica says you didn't have to get heated. True. Sutton says we've watched you get heated so many times. True. Kyle says you were
True.
unhinged. True. Garcelle agrees. Sutton says then we turn this corner. Sutton says we're not talking about it anymore. And Erica goes in with her bullying bullshit. Why? Because you feel cornered. And then Sutton responds as a total martyr. So now I hate them both. Sorry, I ruined it for everyone. I hate that shit. That
I do
energy
too.
makes me want to she lost me right there. I was like, if you're going to take this route, I can't say enough. This is about Magic Mike. Don't scream and cry and say I ruined it for it's not a wedding. It's nothing of import. It's a 90-minute naked man show in Vegas. Please don't use your martyr card here. Ick. And I will say at this moment, I was like, these are the characteristics that I react to in dry drunks when it's like
Oh,
really
yeah.
over the top, exceptionally emotional about things that feel nonsensical to me. And as we move on, I think Sutton's a full blown drunk.
Oh, shit.
These last two scenes, that last scene, I mean, we'll get there, but I could barely sit still. That she
The
was my
vodka.
dad
Yeah.
in that last scene, like, name it,
Oh,
name it,
oh.
name it.
God, we had different takes.
Oh my God. Well, we'll get there because
Yeah, yeah.
I have a whole case for why Sutton is my
I can't
dad.
wait. I
I got
can't
to go to
wait to hear
therapy.
it. I know, right? I need to talk about lots of these things in therapy.
Mhm.
And you know what? I will say I have people in my life that can attest to it, namely my mother and my sister. When I see an opportunity, like Erika saw an opportunity, and someone is in my mind, I have made the decision that they deserve a little comeuppance for whatever they've just done. Oh, I've gone the fuck off where if someone had recorded me and posted it on social media, it would not have been good for me. I can remember a lot of them. And the thought that one of my going off on a fellow member of the public could go viral, it's one of the motivations for not doing it. The second motivation is that it doesn't fucking feel good after the fact. It feels good in the moment. It satisfies my need for justice. It satisfies my need to shut someone up who I perceive as being fucking ignorant and needs to get taken down a notch. And listen, on the cosmic scoreboard, that could be fucking true. Yeah, I went off on someone really bad when Leo was little. We were in a Walgreens and this man, I was literally juggling a million. Should I even, I don't have to tell this story.
Yeah,
It's
tell
so
the
dumb. Are
story.
you sure?
Absolutely.
We were standing in line in a Walgreens and I'm handling a toddler that was probably overdue for a nap. My hands were full. It was one of those things. I don't need a basket. I can juggle it all in my hands. And I was in line, clearly struggling amidst the line of customers that weren't struggling. And the cashier at the front, I didn't see that she had told me, like next or whatever. So I'm trying to get my shit together to go up. And the guy behind me is like, okay, like she called you or some shit like that. And I was like, oh God. He's like, no, my name's Bill. And I was like, okay, everyone. Okay, everyone. Listen, Bill is in a hurry. Bill needs to get out of here. You guys, Bill is extremely important. He needs to leave. And at first, I had the people around me like cheering me on. And I was in a part of San Francisco called Pacific Heights, and it's, the very Beverly Hills area of San Francisco. And this man was a senior citizen and he had clearly had some work done recently. And he was also wearing really tight bike leggings. So he had two two little weak spots in my judgment. He had two weak spots. So I was like, everybody, Bill needs to get home and put on some recovering salve, and he needs to get home real quick in his little pants. So everyone just make sure that you're real, don't dilly-dally around Bill. It felt good in the moment. And then I left and I was like holding my kid's hand and I just like my stomach just fell. And another lady said to me, that was a little much. And I, I was like, you don't know my life. She said, well, you don't know mine either. And okay, good,
All of that's
but
true, and it's not about Bill and his pants, like, this is why we go to
no.
therapy, like, it's not about Bill, it's not about Magic Mike. Erica's
Yes.
life crumbled a year or 2 ago, and so she's on edge and taking it out on an easy target, which is Sutton, who
Yeah.
opens herself up to be a target with all of her histrionics. No, I think that moment in the Walgreens is very relatable. Like, I'm always in that state when I'm driving. Everyone's
Oh,
wrong.
yeah.
Everyone's in a hurry. Everyone can get off my ass or needs to go faster or
Right.
please pull in to the intersection when you're making a protected
Oh
left. Oh my
my
God.
fucking
Oh
God.
my God. And then I honk to move them into the intersection gently. I go toot toot
Boop, boop.
and they
Yep.
throw their hands up. And I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to turn. I'm saying get out. Okay. Anyways, my point
No,
is
trust me. Be in the
there
car
are
with me, my sister, or my mother. Yes.
There are
fucking left turn
relatable
yields are not, they're fine. Get in the goddamn intersection and just be ready to take your space.
and be conscious,
Ugh.
and this is the issue that I need to continue to work on in therapy is like be conscious of the people around you. This isn't just your left turn. There's a whole line of us trying to get home and it's 6:30 at night and please just be conscious that you're
Right.
not the only person trying to get home. Bill
No.
isn't the only person trying to get his Walgreens crap checked out.
Oh,
So
God. But
it's
yes,
clearly symptomatic of something deeper in
and
me, that
I
reaction.
do talk about it in therapy. This is not
Same.
something that I just like, "Oh, my bad," it's like I hang my head in proverbial shame and I do talk about it. I always compare it to situations like that. For me, they feel good in the moment, like eating a lot of cream cheese frosting out of the canister. And then in 5 minutes, I'm all, oh, I feel sick. And oh, I didn't do that with love. It's one thing if I want to eat the cream cheese frosting out of the canister with love. It's another thing if I'm doing it to regulate myself, to regulate my emotions that are calling for me to be present or curious, not for me to just fix it with some frosting. So,
And
it's
as one
it's
of my
getting better.
therapists would say, "Oh, well, not perfect yet."
No, not
It's
perfect
like
yet.
all we can do is try to do it a little different, a little better, a little
Yeah,
more patiently next time. And boy, with driving, it is incremental for
it
me. And this has been like
truly,
a decades long pursuit to calm down
right.
behind the wheel.
And the thing is, and the thing that my mom and my sister say to me is, it's not going to change anything. You're
I
getting
know.
upset, but it's not going to change anything. And I have argued with them. I'm like, you sure that like a little bit of shame isn't going to be like, oh, fuck, I'm an idiot. I'm going to do this differently next time. And they're like, have you met humanity? No, it doesn't work like that. And again, who died and made me the judge of everyone? I have a real attached to like the cosmic scoreboard. I really, really do.
Same.
And it makes my life miserable. I'm miserable when I'm in that space.
And
I don't win.
I can get creative with how I do that because I used to be keen on outbursts. And then once I started therapy, then I started manipulating therapy. And if I was in a situation with a Bill type, I would be like, hey, Bill, you seem like really angry and frustrated and upset. And like, that's obviously not about this. That would be crazy, right, Bill? Oh, look,
Oh,
you should look into
Marty.
that, honey. I'm so sorry that your life is so miserable that you're making like that's crazy too. I'm taking time out of my day to like get weird on Bill, like, so I've learned to all of this behavior has been, changed and amended over the last decade or so. I really my anger was so deep and about so much stuff that I was out of touch with that all of like the Bills and the Hyundai Elantras in front of me in my life really got a pile of resentment that they had nothing to do with coming off me.
Yes. I don't know if it's like this for you. If I don't have control over other parts of my life, at least in that moment when I can name and shame Bill, I have some fucking control.
It's
I
so
have,
true.
yeah.
And the other piece of it for me is I react so strongly when someone does it to me. When I'm like, this isn't about me. Don't take your shit out on me. And it's like, meanwhile,
Ah,
you spot it, you
yeah.
got it kind of thing. Like I am a perpetrator and I'm on the receiving end of it. And I hate being on the receiving end of it. And I look forward to getting over being a perpetrator.
I know, me too. Me too.
But so now we are at Sutton's house and she is alone at home at 1
Oh,
p.m.
wait, can I just say one
Oh,
thing
yes.
about the Sprinter van? So this was my thing. Dorit asked Garcelle, why couldn't she take Sutton from a 10 to a 2? Excuse me. Excuse me. No one can take anyone from a 10 to a 2. That's not anybody's else's responsibility. As adults, we should be able to regulate ourselves and take ourselves from a 10 to a 2. And Dorit, especially after the fucking morning before. Well, Garcelle, why couldn't you do it? Everyone has assigned Garcelle the role of Sutton's keeper. Garcelle has talked about it. We all notice it. And I look at it as Garcelle likes this friendship because she sees in Sutton what I see in Sutton and the redeemable parts of Sutton, of which I think there are many charms about that woman. I really do. I think of all the cast, hanging out with Garcelle and Sutton would be my top choice. Duh. Like, I'm sure I'm not alone in that. My point is that for Dorit to put it on her instead of just not even having the thought, I thought was very rude and very sick and codependent and also inappropriate and
I appreciated Garcelle's response. She said, "I'm not her therapist. I
right,
can't do that."
exactly. I love that. You fuck off,
She's
Dorit. God. Oh my
truly
God.
always.
Mhm.
But that was one of the moments in the Sprinter van when she was saying that horrendous backwards shit that I was like, "She looks beautiful."
Mhm.
So, what are you gonna do? Okay, so now we're back in Beverly Hills. Sutton's at home alone at 1 p.m. and she fills a solo-sized cup over half full of vodka. And I just wrote, "Holy shit." And this to me lays out the rest of the episode. And I'm like, oh my God, Sutton is a drunk. Whoever made that comment about her carrying vodka in her purse, suddenly I was like, I know this woman. And that was a scary thing. Because with cameras on her, she had no problem filling that cup, no ice, like 3/4 of the way full. Like that is an intense amount of booze.
And you know what it made me think about was Shannon in Orange County last season. You know, she always orders her is it she drinks Belvedere
Grey
or Grey
Goose? I
Goose?
don't
Yeah,
remember.
I know. She drinks a top shelf vodka, and she orders that with a side of club soda. And I noticed that when they were at dinner, cowboy night dinner, Sutton ordered the vodka with a side of grapefruit juice. And was it a discussion on Reddit that alcoholics in recovery were chiming in going, "Ooh, I did that." I would, make it seem like I wanted the side, but it was just so I could, have more alcohol. And I had the same thing. I'm like, "Oh my God, is Sutton
Yes.
is Sutton a
A
problem drinker? Does she
hardcore.
have substance abuse disorder?" Yeah.
I think
Woo!
this and as we move on, there's just more and more. So to me, she's a dry drunk in the Sprinter band. She's bringing it home by being a day drinker here and constantly saying, "I've had a hard day." It's like, a lot of people have hard days. Anyways, then we have Erika and Garcelle at lunch, and I just am at my limit with Erika. I don't care. It's nice to see Garcelle realizing that maybe she needs to stop coming to Sutton's defense so much because there's no return on that investment for her, it seems. And now we're back at Sutton's later in the day. Kyle arrives, and we have this is where I realized Sutton was drunk. We have this weird protracted scene where Kyle is talking like she's on Adderall, and Sutton has slowed
Totally.
down to a speed. You know, when you put a record on the wrong
Oh,
speed,
yeah.
that's where she's at. And this is where we're in my household when I'm a kid. Avi goes, Kyle Sutton says, "Let's have a drink." And Avi goes, "How about hot water and lemon?" And Sutton goes, "I'm having booze. I've had a hard day." And he's like, "Okay, okay, okay." And there's that uncomfortable thing of like, so Avi's trying to protect her. You're on camera, you're already shit faced. "Can I please give you a
Oh,
water?" And she's like, "No, I've had a
interesting.
long day." And then they
Interesting.
go and sit down. It was just so uncomfortable. And then we cut to Sutton's confessional where more drunk behavior. She makes this big sweeping global judgment about Kyle's not a friend. "I had a realization in Las Vegas. She's not a friend. She's never been a friend." That is addict thinking. It is black or white. She's either all in or fuck her forever. And I can't say enough. Like this is based on Magic Mike. Sutton's really going to end a friendship because of an outburst at Magic Mike in Vegas? Who cares? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. This can't be this important unless you're drunk.
See, I agree that Kyle is not her friend. I agree that Kyle seems like she's happy to work with Sutton, and I think she probably enjoys the fact that they have things in common as far as their financial assets go, and I think that she also is probably a little captivated by the social circles that Sutton walks in. I'm completely projecting, but I can see Kyle wanting to have that relationship because
Well, and I think
Sutton is exciting for all intents and purposes. But looking over the years, she has never been fucking nice to Sutton.
Well,
Lest we
Sutton has
forget
the
the scene with
relationship,
Diana.
sure,
Yeah.
which is sort of, even though Kyle's sober, she reenacts that same energy here.
Exactly.
But I think Sutton has the relationship with Kathy that Kyle feels she deserves. And so I think that's always like an
Mm.
edgy, like, it just put edges on every interaction she has with Sutton.
Interesting.
And the conversation rapidly ramps up from here, which is also typical of engaging with an alcoholic. Sutton does this weird big production imitating Erika at the elevators. Sutton, here's your chance to apologize. And she takes all of this time to do this really out of character, strange, big production number, her Erika impression. And Kyle tries to interrupt her, and Sutton goes, "Let me finish." And I was like, oh God,
Oh,
Dad.
man.
And then Kyle makes a cute joke. Who are you, Dorit? And Sutton reacts like a full drunk. The slightly delayed reaction where she like stops and then pulls her head back and then drops her jaw. It's like the alcoholic brain is too soaked in that moment to do the
Interesting.
reaction all at once. So it happens in 3 dramatic parts. And then this is where she's gone. She's out of her mind drunk. Defend your friend. Defend your friend. Name them, name them, name them.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, and maybe it's just because it's exactly how my dad behaved when he was drunk, like this sort of
Yeah.
aggressive, self-righteous, you know, not capable of listening, but I wasn't aware of that at the time. So I would try to explain. And Kyle gets pushed to her limit because she's not in recovery either. And she
No.
says, "Let me talk, Jesus." Which only makes it rude, and Sutton just continues, "Name them, name them, name them. Be quiet." Kyle says, "Be quiet, and I will." And she names the leather pants incident, the face rolling in Lake Tahoe incident, and the Magic Mike incident. And I agree with Kyle. She says, "You did not seem okay in Vegas, and you don't seem okay now, frankly." And okay or not, she's drunk off her ass. And
Interesting.
Avi tried to do her a favor, and she did not take it. And this is the
Wow.
outcome,
I
in my
didn't
opinion.
I didn't even see any of that. That's so funny. I wondered if she was slurring for a minute. Oh my
I don't know if
God.
again, it's full projection. I just,
But I
you
hear
know,
you. I hear you. Like, I wanna defend the J drinking, like, that's a thing now, like, it's on
sure.
fucking sweatshirts and birthday cards, and, it's become an acceptable way to drink and
And
girls
plenty
trip,
of
brunch,
people,
and
yeah,
yeah,
plenty of people get drunk and aren't alcoholics. So I do not mean to
right.
put that diagnosis on Sutton. That is completely out of my depth. But the way she was behaving as a drunk reminded me of people who have addictive issues who I love in my life.
When Kyle made the comment that she thinks Sutton is not okay, I thought it was fucking shitty because if you're gonna ask a friend if they're okay, do you think they're and you do it in that way, like, "I'm really worried that you're not okay. I don't think you're okay."
This
It's
is an
like, is
alcoholic and an Al-Anon trying to
oh, you're right.
communicate. Good luck.
It's like
It's like watching Emily Simpson and Shannon trying to talk last season on OC.
and it reminded me of when Heather came for Shannon in one of the early Shannon seasons when they're having dinner at someone's house. And Heather says, "I think she's having a psychotic break." She wasn't having a fucking psychotic break. Everyone could see that Shannon was not having a psychotic break. A. B. I don't think that Heather is qualified to. Well, I just said it wasn't a psychotic break, so scratch that from the record. Heather was coming from a place of judging Shannon. She really didn't have concern for Shannon, and she can tell us all the fucking livelong day that she did. She didn't. And I don't think Kyle is really genuinely worried about her
I think at
friend in
this point,
quotes.
the conversation has gone off the rails so hardcore that now everyone's just reacting instead of responding. Because like Kyle's screaming at her and then insulting her in this very pointed way. "You don't seem okay." And
Oh, I
Sutton's just
really.
stuck in her name 'em cycle. So these people are not communicating. They're both bringing their own damage to to this moment. And yeah, it made me super uncomfortable. I couldn't wait for it to be over.
It was a really uncomfortable episode, and
Hmm.
they give us so much to talk about as far as therapy and our respective paths and 12 steps and self-help and
Mhm.
all of it. I could relate to all of it. And
It's always, as always, a cautionary tale. If I do not
yes.
stay close to caring for my mental health, I run the risk of becoming one of these women. I don't
Yeah.
wanna behave like
Oh,
that.
fuck no. I do not. I absolutely do not. No. No, I don't. Oh.
So that's the end of what was it called? Hate-evators?
It was called
Elevators?
Hellevators.
Elevators. Oh,
Hellevators or Hellevator? Let me see. Hellevators.
elevators. Well,
Hellevators in the can.
delivering again, ladies of
Yes.
Beverly Hills. Thank
Yes.
you so much. What else did you watch this week?
I watched Selling Sunset, which I really resisted watching that show when it first came out. I think we tried maybe 2 episodes, and I really liked seeing the B-roll of LA. I used to work in Sunset Plaza like, 20 years ago. I think the Oppenheim Group used to be an Anna Sui boutique. I could be wrong, but I I don't remember why I was so desperate that I found it again. Or you know what? Actually, I think it might have been that I knew that Reality Gaze was recapping it, and I love that podcast so much. And so I think I went back, but then I ended up binging all the seasons, and they're like 24 to 37 minutes long. The houses, like, I love to look at a huge bathroom and a huge closet, but a lot of the houses are these ugly rectangles with glass patio
Pocket
railings or
doors.
whatever, and
Oh,
yeah,
right.
it's just really these houses are so designed by men, and they're just catering to some sort of rich bachelor, which I guess, okay. And I don't even know if people live in these houses or if they're just rented for Airbnbs or for events, but it's not good, but it has its purpose and I enjoy it. And I thought I was going to hate Emma, and it turns out I really like Emma. And you can just tell it's manufactured drama though. And
Oh,
um,
it's ridiculous. I love the
yeah,
clothes they wear make me die laughing. If I
yeah.
showed up to any professional circumstance wearing some like cutout crop top mini skirt ass out
Oh my
and
God.
9-inch heels, I just can't believe they're able to function and move around town like that. But more power to them. They all look great.
I
But
do love Amanza's outfits the most of all. I
yeah,
love Amanza. Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
some of them, who's the girl with the accent? Her outfits sometimes are just like, how are you even staying in that thing? Her tits are sliding out the bottom and the top.
Chelsea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's great. She's a great character, but her outfits, I'm always like, how did you get into that? What is that? When you saw it on a hanger, did you know? How could you
I
possibly know what that's going
I
to look like
know.
on you?
I
Anyways,
it feels though at least they're all how do I say it? The outfits they wear feel more authentic to me than the outfits that Dorit wears for
absolutely.
some reason. And even though they're full, like, titty meat everywhere and completely impractical, I am so worried every time I see them walk up and down those stairs in those shoes. It just stresses me out, and everyone's feet hurt, I'm sure. But it's just something again, my feelings about Dorit and her fashion choices are well known. I don't need to go off on that, but okay. And then I caught up on Miami. Larsa has no grip on reality, but in a way that I I, I just can't imagine what it's like to be like that.
She's horrendous.
She's so mean.
She's so self-centered to the point of being almost not on this planet anymore.
Yeah.
Did you watch last night's episode?
I didn't yet. No.
Oh, I mean,
No.
you've seen the preview where Gertie announces, I have
Oh,
breast cancer. And she goes,
yes.
how was I supposed to know that? How could I
I
know that? How do you
it
know
was
that? I was like, what are you doing? Oh my
mhm.
God. You're
Yeah,
doing
I did see
literally
that.
everything wrong to the most extreme way you could possibly do everything
It
wrong.
was yes, I saw that extended preview, I think on Reddit I saw it, and it was mortifying. I thought for sure she's going to come out with,
I'm
you
so
know
sorry.
I
I
know, we're like, "Oh
am
my god, no
mortified. Like,
wonder this has been such a I've sensed something up," or no, just, "Well, how was I supposed to know? Are you fucking kidding?" And then ratting on her?
oh my
Like
God.
if anyone tells you, like, "Don't say anything," you don't fucking say anything, you
And
know?
Gertie made a point during that lunch to say, I just want to be clear. And Larsa talks over her saying, I would never. And God bless the editors. They put up chyron that says 6 hours later. No, seriously, literally 6 hours
Oh,
later.
my
And Lars
God.
says, gathered a gaggle of ladies to just tell him. She's
And
awful.
I've never seen those women before that
Me
she talked to.
neither.
Again, Alexia is
Ugh,
Ooh, I just had to take a deep breath. The fact that she's still well, I didn't watch last night, but when we caught up on last week's episode, still fucking helping her 30-year-old goddamn son. This is part of the reason why I don't have a fucking relationship with my goddamn father, or it's in the current state that it's in, which is not estranged, but also not close by any means. He was catered to by every woman in his family, and now he's just a man child. And Alexia is just so attached. She's just bought that package that says you've got to just take care of your boy children. And oh, she's so gross. Oh, she's so gross to me. She really makes me mad. And then caught up on Potomac,
who cares? Are you
Robin.
getting anything out of that? I'm
I'm
so
not,
bored. I
except
just
for I can't imagine what it's like to be Robin. I resisted for a while getting on the bandwagon that Robin and Giselle give nothing, and it's true. They're not playing the game.
no, yeah. And this
Especially
season they're
Robin.
both faking everything. Robin's faking that it's cool that as if Juan didn't violate rules that
Oh my
merited him
God.
losing his job.
Wow.
Him
That was
saying like, "I'll
just
do anything for my guys." I'm like, "Well, that's
despicable and
clear."
criminal.
Oh my
Despicable
word.
and criminal.
Not to mention all of this stuff, cheating. And then
Right.
Giselle, this relationship with Jason, I was so excited to see like, ooh, let's see what this dynamic is. And I'm like, oh no, it's so boring and fake. And it feels like a poorly written sitcom again. They're just like, ugh.
Oh, I know. I know.
Anyways, I'm not enjoying Potomac yet, but of course I'm still watching. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. Let's see. Salt Lake.
I'm
Fucking
behind.
fantastic. It's good. And what else? Did I watch anything else? I don't think I did.
I don't think I did either. Oh no, I
Nothing
watched
of
Below
note.
Deck, which was
Oh,
ridiculous and great.
how about you?
I basically watched the same thing. Potomac and Miami are the ones that come to mind, and I love Selling Sunset too. There's
Yeah.
nothing. I can't tell you a single storyline because I don't care. It's just not about that, and I love it for being. It's a man with a harem of young, beautiful. Like nobody can turn 40 in that office, right? Like I don't
Oh, that's a
understand.
good question.
I'll
Just
be so
Jason and
curious.
whatever his brother's name is. Brett? Who's the other?
Brett, yes, that's
Brett.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who's the other Oppenheim? Yeah.
And one of them who has like a child girlfriend who's just like a little
Oh
string bean
my
from
God. Yes.
somewhere else. Anyways, it
Yes.
was it makes me laugh. It's what everyone thinks Los Angeles is. And I get it. It exists. It is here in
Mm-hmm.
volume. Those women and those relationships exist here.
They
So
do. Like, you see them in the wild in LA. You see them
mhm.
definitely dressed even more outrageously on a Friday or Saturday night. I don't know where the hangout is now besides Craig's, but it used to be Koi on La Cienega. I don't know what it is now, but if I was driving home late enough, I would see them. But yeah, there are women that look like that in LA. They are going to work. I mean at any job is what I'm saying. Like, like they are going to there are some that are in those outfits. And that is the great thing about LA, and also if you're having a bad day and feeling low self-esteem, it's also like, "Man, why do I fucking live here?"
I know. I'm of an age now where I'm like, exploit your gorgeous, sexy bodies
Hell
while
yeah.
you can when you're in your moment, like wear everything with tits out, ass out, and ride that train till it comes to a stop around
Yes.
43.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. It's not the same as when you're 20. Maybe it's like an
Mm-mm.
attitude of,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
like you move through the world with like a lot more curiosity and optimism and I don't think that's not true either. I take it all back. Anyways,
I always, you know, I always say, "Dress what you want. I don't care how old you are. If you like it, feel good in it, then you do it."
yeah. What was your antidepressant?
Oh my God. Let's see. I had some really uncomfortable feelings at the beginning of the week and had a good therapy appointment about it, and am working to get right sized in my mind about it, like not catastrophize like I was doing, but rather to just look at it without projecting any kind of feelings on it. And it feels uncomfortable to do that and scary to do that, and also like a relief to do it, because I think if I was to live my life without projecting feelings onto situations, I'd be a lot happier. And I would cause, okay, yes, I would cause myself less stress. So my antidepressant this week is that I moved through an uncomfortable situation and it feels right sized again. Thanks in part to a conversation I had with you recently. So I appreciate that.
It's so
Yes.
funny because my antidepressant, maybe it's recency bias, but it's you. Last night you
Oh.
saved me. I'm working my way out of a relationship that is proving toxic. And I had a conversation with this person last night and got off the phone with that feeling of like being totally rattled, just like shaking and crying. And I know what the next step is, which is to leave. But like there's this intermediary moment where you know what to do and you haven't done it yet. And you picked up the phone and talked me through that so I could sleep last night. Like
Oh, I'm so glad,
it
Margie.
was so you took an hour out of I know what time of night that is. That's reading, that's bath time. Like that's a tough time of night when you have a 7-year-old. So I just appreciate your time and it truly just completely reset my nervous system so I could enjoy watching Beverly Hills and I could get some rest and be in a, good headspace to have this conversation this morning.
Oh, well, I'm really glad. It helped me too. You called it the perfect time. You really did. Oh, I love that. I'm really glad. Okay, so let's talk about next week is Thanksgiving, and I am traveling to see my family in Portland, and my kid is also out of school all next week. So we had a discussion last night and made the decision to not be recording next week. And it brings up so much fear for me. Like, I don't want to stop the momentum. And it's also that I love doing this so much, but I don't think it's realistic
And we
with my
had the
kid being out of school,
conversation.
packing, flying,
And it's
Thanksgiving.
also that's the thing, like, we had the conversation last night of, like, we're trying to, like, model positive mental health choices, and the people pleaser in me doesn't wanna do it,
Yes,
but
exactly.
the healthier part of me knows that vacation is important, rest is necessary, so we're gonna try it. We're gonna try taking a week off and leaning into being present, super present for family and friends over this Thanksgiving holiday, and yeah, I think we both have, like, feelings about it. Obviously, like,
A lot.
I'm wringing my hands
I
as I'm
know, I
saying this,
know. I
but,
was
like,
gripping the mug of my tea, like, so hard right now to stop.
that means
Yes.
that means we're evolving, like, this will
Yeah,
be either way, we'll learn something on the other side of this that's important, but we believe in the principles of rest and being nourished by people who you love and giving them your full attention when you have
right,
the opportunity. We only get
right.
one shot at this life, as my mom always says, so rather than like setting up a microphone and traveling with recording equipment, I'm
Yeah,
happy to,
and
yeah.
or recording next Monday after Potomac, or if I could pack my microphone and take it to Portland. But the other thing is that it takes about a day to edit a podcast because I want it to go out sounding a certain way. And so for however long the podcast is, it's 3 to 6 hours of editing behind it, and it takes away a whole day. And so, but it was not an easy decision to make. It
No, but I'm
was
proud of us for
I
doing
am
it. Like
too. I am too.
it's the harder choices with unknown repercussions that
Mhm.
are, these are the most interesting times. So we'll reconvene in 2 weeks and tell you how
Yeah.
we weathered taking a week off.
Yeah, and it is today this episode is episode 26, so that is a half a year of
Hey.
episodes. Yes, congratulations to us, and thank you to those who are listeners from the jump or listeners that, recently found us. We're really grateful that you're here. And you're right. If I was telling anyone, if anyone was calling me and saying, "Gosh, I'm really nervous about taking time off. I'm afraid we're going to lose our momentum, or I'm afraid that, this means I don't have a strong work ethic or something," I would be like, "Listen, you are entitled to rest. It's okay." So we're just practicing what we preach. And over explaining it as
100%. We've been talking about this for 15 minutes. The announcement is we're taking a week off, see you in 2
Right.
weeks, and here is our neuroses
Yes.
playing out in real time.
Yes. Lest you think that we took this was like a, oh, no big deal. We're just going to take time off. Like, listen, you guys, we agonize over this decision. Like, who gives a shit, dude?
I know.
Right sized. Got to keep this right sized. So yes, have a lovely vacation next week with your family or with your family of choice or with yourself or whatever you end up doing. My wish for you and for you, Margie, and for myself is that we do it with love and compassion and presentness. And I will say that for myself, things don't have to be perfect. The start of the holidays can be real triggering for me because I want to provide myself, my inner child, and my family with this magic. God damn it. I must create magic. And I need to fucking keep this year right-sized as well because last year I went off the fucking rails. I didn't have every single Christmas decoration out before the 24th. And I was like, I'm disappointing my inner child. My kid's going to grow up thinking there's no magic. I mean, I went out there. It was not good. I learned my lesson, you
You
know?
know,
I can do it different this year.
it's interesting. I think my sister said this to me. I remember in 2013, I was on the streets of New York and she said to me, happiness is a discipline and rest is a discipline.
Ooh.
So it takes making a conscious choice. Like we are going to rest this week
Yeah.
and we are going to choose to set aside anxiety to the best of our ability. And we are going
Yeah.
to choose to immerse ourselves in whatever joy is available and to try and temper with the stress. I think in Al-Anon, they call it the Al-Anon Bermuda Triangle of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Because,
Oh,
you're just
shit.
surrounded by all of your
Totally.
alcoholic or untreated
Oh,
family members.
totally. Yeah.
So we'll have plenty on our plates to discuss when we return.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'll look
So,
forward to it.
well, Margie, as always, I'm so excited that I got to talk to you twice in less than 24 hours.
I
I'm
know.
so
Thank
happy
you.
about that.
You're the
And
best.
listeners, we're very, very grateful for you. We hope that you're enjoying listening to us as much as we're enjoying doing this. Take really good care of yourself this week. If you want to share anything, feel free to reach out at atherapeuticdose@gmail.com. Our Instagram is at A Therapeutic Dose. Rate, review, subscribe, por favor. And
We'll see you in a couple
We'll
weeks.
see
Have a
you in 2
very
weeks.
happy Thanksgiving and
Yes.
take
Have
care
a
of your
lovely
mental health.
time doing whatever and just love yourself through it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Lots to be grateful for on my end. All
same.
right, everyone. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. Ramona and Margie are, obviously, not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom is